Well, good afternoon, everybody. Let me say to begin with how much I support this initiative to promote the social sciences in Indonesia, a very necessary thing to do. I'm wholeheartedly in support, and I'm only sorry that I can't be there physically with my presence. The social sciences are really crucial to understanding the contemporary world, and therefore of core importance to the trajectory of any country today. The social sciences were born out of transformation in the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries, mostly in the West, of course. First, the origin of the modern state, and then the origin of politics, then the Industrial Revolution, the origin of economics, and in the 19th century, those things becoming more widespread through the world that created sociology and anthropology. It's really important to recognize that the origins of sociology and the social sciences come from that backdrop. And their relevance today is that we're starting to live in a totally different world, where the background is still transformation, but that transformation is now global. There is a shift in the technoplates of geopolitics with the rise of China and the rise of Asia more generally, which means really we're entering a new period of history, I think, and it's the business of the social sciences, as was true in the 18th and 19th centuries, to do the same thing for the 21st century, but against the backdrop of living in the first truly globalized world. I would like to stress to you that globalization is not, absolutely not, going into reverse. What globalization means is not just the economic spread of markets, but above all, global interdependence. And this is the most interdependent society ever that anyone has ever lived in. You can see that by what we're doing here, which can be transmitted instantaneously around the world. And essentially, in a world of instantaneous communication, the level of global integration has accelerated in a gigantic fashion and is the background to many of the opportunities we have and many of the dislocations that we face in the world today. We live, I would say, in what I call anyway, a world which has moved off the edge of history. By that I mean we live in a world which is distinctively different from any civilization in previous history, no matter how much continuity there is with it. I call it a high opportunity, high risk society. To me, this is a crucial notion. The opportunities are just huge. Let's take those, for example, with the expansion of education and social sciences being a core part of that, itself becoming globalized. There are massive opportunities for development. Many people sitting there will know the work of Robert Pinker in his book Enlightenment Now, where he charts out the extraordinary positive changes there have been in global society. So this is a high opportunity world, but it's also at the same time a high risk one, where the risks themselves are global, and again, where no one has had to face those risks previously. No one has lived before in a world which is approaching 10 billion people. No one has lived in a world where nuclear weapons exist, at least before the last 2 or 3, 4 decades. No one has lived in a world of mass migration of the kind which we're facing today. And no one has experienced a revolution like the digital revolution, which to me, I have to say, I don't mean to define it as a technology, it's much broader than that. To me, the digital revolution, understood appropriately, is the greatest transformative force in world history today. The digital revolution is not the internet, it's not robotics, it's not AI, it's a fusion of those moving at enormous pace across the world, much, much faster than the original industrial revolution, penetrating people, the intimacies of people's daily lives. Think of the selfies that are sent around the world in immediate fashion. penetrating the economy, penetrating politics, of course, and many of the struggles around democracy and the rise of authoritarian leaders connected with this. So this is at least one of the great transformative forces of the period, moving us off the edge of history. A crucial thing to understand is that we cannot in advance know the relationship between opportunity and risk because much of it is new. You can't do a statistical analysis. Every time someone gets in a car, I could unfortunately tell you how likely it is you'll be in an accident. You can't do the same for climate change. You can't do the same for massive global population. You can't do the same for the possibility of nuclear war, nor can you do the same for the other side of it, the opportunities, because our economies are becoming transformed, for example. There are fantastic opportunities because we're living in what some people have aptly described as a weightless economy, where information is even partly replacing money. Data is, in a sense, the generative force in the economy, many different levels. So there's a novel world emerging here, but since it is so new, if you take, for example, the global debate now on the future of work, a lot of it is don't know territory. What we know is that work is becoming radically transformed. The economy is becoming radically transformed, including on a global level. But since we don't have data on how such things have evolved before, because they haven't evolved before, you cannot do a statistical analysis of the level of risk and opportunity. And that's the kind of world in which we live, to me. That is the kind of world which the social sciences have to analyse out. We have an even bigger task, because I'm that faced by the originators of the social sciences in the latter part of the 19th century because of its global nature. But we also have the opportunity, which I'm taking advantage of here, of global communication. There are global communities of scientists today. All the disciplines tend to be globalized, as well as national, of course. So this is the world which we both express in what we do and which we have to analyze out. I don't think there are any other disciplines apart from the social sciences which can do this. So the task before us is a huge one, but nevertheless, to me, really, really gripping. We're talking about the emergence of a global civilization here, and it is our business to chart that out, not just on a macroscopic level, but on all the different levels in which that plays out. And I would stress that goes right down to the intimacies of self and to everyday life, as well as to the large-scale institutions. We still have to deal with the problems of corruption, of power, of the dislocation that change can produce, but there is a huge agenda here, and I would urge everyone to make their own contribution to the evolution of our understanding and our practical responses to it. Thank you very much.